Hello and welcome to the Sunday Afternoon Modular. In this video, we're gonna have a look at the Eowave Zone B.F. Eowave is a small manufacturer from France. The Zone B.F is a dual LFO that comes with 16 waveforms. The voltage range is from -5 volts to +5 volts. Let's have a look at the module from top to bottom. First, there are two LEDs that display the LFO activity. Then we have a knob to dial in the speed. This goes from 0.1 Hz to around 200 Hz. Next is a knob to choose between the 16 waveforms. Again, a speed and a wave knob for the second LFO. Then, very cool, a sync input for each LFO. As soon as it receives an impulse signal, it will reset the waveform. This means that, as an example, we can sync it to the tempo of our song, which is pretty cool. If you ever had an LFO without sync, you know how annoying it can be to dial in the right speed. However, I had some issues with the sync input. But I'm not sure if it's really the LFO or something else. But more about that after the sound demo. Last but not least, an output for each LFO. Now from the Black Edition onwards, there are two jumpers on the back of the module. If you move the jumper, that it only sits on one leg instead of two, the sync input now becomes a speed input, so that you can control the speed with a CV signal. If you have never used an LFO in your modular system, you might want to ask, for what do I use an LFO? LFOs, or low-frequency oscillators, are used to modulate other signals. You usually patch it into a CV input of a module. The one we have here cycles between 0.1 Hz and 200 Hz, which I consider rather a high value for an LFO. The Hertz cycle is what we can set with the speed knob. If you have watched my video about polarity, we have learned that the higher the frequency, the faster it cycles. So 0.1 Hz creates a slow wave, where the cycle needs more time, whereas 200 Hz creates a faster cycle. We can use this to achieve different effects, from slowly pulsating sounds up to warp effects. Depending on the waveform, this effect will be different, but we will hear that now. We first listen to a raw sawtooth wave coming from the nanomodule's ONA oscillator. Afterwards, we will go through all the waveforms of the Zone B.F LFO. The LFO will modulate the cutoff frequency of the tip-top audio Forbidden Planet filter. I use the filter in low-pass mode. There is also a bit of reverb on the modulated signal. Further, I have synced the Zone B.F to my gate signal. Alright, let's start! Alright, that was the Eowave Zone B.F Dual LFO. A very versatile LFO with its 16 waveforms and the sync input. For me, a sync input is a must for an LFO. It makes life so much easier. Now, I told you in the beginning that I experienced some issues with the sync input. As you may have heard, there were some nasty click sounds now and then in the sound demo, especially with certain LFO waveforms. I suspect that these click sounds come from the gate signal the LFO receives. I am now not sure if the problem lies with the LFO or if I am doing something wrong. Maybe I need to attenuate the gate signal so the LFO receives a softer signal? If you know what could be the problem here and why that is, let me know in the comments. Apart from that, a really cool and affordable dual LFO module. That was it for the Eowave Zone B.F. If you enjoy my videos, you would make me more than happy if you leave a like and become a subscriber. If you want to see how my current filming setup looks like, visit my Instagram. The link is in the video description. So long, have a great day, evening or night, and see you next time on the